Analysis by M&M&M. Metaphors are a figure of speech in which an object represents another without it being directly stated in the piece of writing. The graphic shows how a metaphor has two parts, one part being obviously stated and the other part having a hidden meaning. The first part is a mask or a representation of the second part of the metaphor. Authors use metaphors to better their understanding of their audience.
Klosterman states that metaphors turn creatures into ideas. Monsters are not what they seem. They are truly symbols that represent much scarier things than the red eyes underneath the bed. Monsters represent real-world issues and fears, such as the big things humans can't explain, death, and the unknown, like what lurks in the dark. Not only that, but monsters also represent the fear of society's expectations, as well as the dependence we have on the internet. Both the internet and society have the means to control the individual and its thought process, thus making them a phobia. The internet and society, which represent power and control, are often embodied by zombies, who in many shows and movies take over and control the world.
Making sense of metaphors. Authors use monsters to describe real-world issues that we think are too big to solve and we are too scared to talk about. Klosterman thinks we live to eliminate the zombies of tomorrow. What he means by this is we use monsters to represent the topics we fear to bring up in conversation. One of the zombies Klosterman refers to is the control and power that internet and society has over us all. It does make sense to read monsters metaphorically, but it may not necessarily be healthy. Instead of throwing a sheet over our issues and calling them monsters, it would be more productive to spice a conversation about the real issue. And we have a video describing monsters.
Is the monster. Beyond some naturalistic boundary, to get labeled a monster, a mythical creature usually has to transgress some kind of social boundary as well. If you consider it from a psychological perspective, particular brands of monstrosity often embody particular human fears. Shapeshifters aren't automatically monstrous simply because they change forms. Think of Professor McGonagall or even the Doctor, but because often that ability can be used to deceive. Think Mystique, or lead to uncontrollable urges, like with werewolves. Vampire.
For the class activity, answer the following questions. Why did humans create monsters? A is to embody human fears. B is for fun. C is to increase the costume choices for Halloween. D is all of the above. The answer is A, to embody human fears. The next question is, what fears different kinds of monsters represent? A is death, B is the unknown, C is the unexplained, D is all of the above. The answer is D, all of the above. What are metaphors used for? A is to compare two things using like or as. B is to represent something of a deeper meaning without directly stating it. C is to create an ominous tone. And D is to keep the reader interested. The answer is B, to represent something of a deeper meaning without directly stating it. Finally, what do zombies represent? A is society, B is fears, C is the internet, and D is all of the above. The answer is D, all of the above.